Hey yo, this your boy Killer Kai, aka Killer Beats, and we back with another episode of the Tough Critics podcast. And on today's episode, we're gonna get into that DMX versus Snoop. And we have a special guest with us today to debate it as well. We got the rapper CB, and we ain't gotta say no more. We just gonna get into it. And before we start, let the people know where you're from.
I appreciate you for having me. So, originally from Denver, Colorado, and out here living in Boise, Idaho right now, making music.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, man. We're gonna get into all of that. We definitely gonna get into all of that. So let's start. Who you got winning the versus battle? Snoop versus DMX.
Man, so
Well,
first
didn't
what?
you want to break it down in criterias?
Yeah, and so that's the thing,
Yeah,
man. It's
let's
it's
go.
not cut or dry, right? So when I look at a bigger impact for a longer period of time, I have to give the edge barely to DMX. Snoop Dogg was great for a smaller period of time. I really do. DMX longevity wise, um, I don't know. I feel like he's more timeless, but as far as overall bars and ability and just fan base and who was most popular, I give the edge to Snoop. So if I have to break it down and go to who wins in this type of versus battle, I'm gonna say that Snoop wins, and I'm gonna say that overall my favorite rapper out of the two was Snoop, but DMX has that certain niche. He's more of a niche rapper, right? He has a certain niche, and Snoop overall, I have to give him the nod though.
That was a good take. I like how you cleaned that up. Personally, a lot of people's gonna be mad at me for this, but I'm gonna have to go with Snoop. I'm gonna have to go with Snoop because I feel like he has bigger hit songs, and the whole verses thing is 20 songs, right? So out of
Yeah.
them 20 songs, I feel personally that Snoop has more bigger records than DMX. Don't get it twisted, DMX got records, but I don't think his catalog is bigger than Snoop's. And I don't think it's fair because Snoop kind of been in the game a little bit longer than DMX. And he had Dr. Dre and all of that, but I just don't think it's a fair error. I think if anything, Snoop should have won against Jay-Z.
Man, Snoop against Jay would have been dope, and I agree with that, man. So, and in that battle, hypothetically, I'd give the nod to Jay Z, but Snoop would be close in that. And DMX, I don't want to sell him short because I have a lot of tracks of his that I liked. So my biggest problem with DMX, right, if I look on an overall scale, is ability to be a chameleon. Every track of DMX, you like DMX for one type of track. He's like a Lil Jon type of rapper. You like that one type of sound. He recreates it. Every song sounds just like that. And it's a good sound, don't get me wrong, but how many tracks can you do that sound just like that one sound? And that's where I think he gets lost.
Correct, correct. But at the same time, I still think that DMX has records that Snoop can't touch, and Snoop has records that DMX can't touch as well. Like I don't think Snoop has that one street like universal anthem record. That's East Coast, West Coast.
I would agree with that. His closest would be Lottie Dottie, right? I mean, we'd have to say that, and that's early Snoop. That's early Snoop. That's a classic. Everybody knows Lottie Dottie. With DMX, yeah, I would fully agree with that. That's a good sentiment. I would back that. I would put my stamp on that. I like DMX, but if I had to pick one artist, right? If I had to pick one artist out of those two to listen to for the rest of my life, and the other one to discard, I would have to pick DMX to discard him. I would.
I'm, I'm not gonna lie, I would too. I definitely would too. I mean, DMX just brought a different feel to the game, and I mean, they both accomplished things that others didn't accomplish, but I just think DMX just was a little bit more reckless than Snoop. I
Yeah.
don't know how more can I put it. I mean, Snoop is that guy. I just think that, to be truthfully honest with you, I think Snoop should have battled somebody from the West Coast. It would have been more of a. It would have been a little bit better, honestly. But who is there from the West Coast that he can battle?
That's what I was just gonna ask you. Who would you put him up against, right? Who would
That's a
be
good
who would
one.
be who would be a difficult person to battle him against and make it a tough competition? So that's why they did that. That's why they put him up against DMX, because honestly, when you start looking at catalogs and overall impact on the rap community, they're pretty similar. They really are.
I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that. But I just think Snoop just had got a little bit of an edge over him because he was out a little bit longer.
Yeah.
When he came out, 93, correct? DMX came out 99, 98.
Yeah, that would have to be about correct. Man, I first got into Pac, around the time when he started getting super big, and that's when, he was messing around with Snoop, and then, obviously you had Dre that brought in Snoop. And I was big on that West Coast scene, mid '90s. Like that was my whole thing. That really was. And I know a couple years after that is when Rough Riders and DMX came out. So that's probably an accurate timeline.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like. That's a little bit too far of a gap. Because what is DMX going to play when Snoop drops Deep Cover? Like, even though he got songs, I think that could beat that, but it's just the classic feel, and it's just too far of a jump.
Man, and the funny thing about DMX is some of my favorite songs from DMX aren't even his like his radio tracks. It's like tracks that I
Album
had to
cuts.
find. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I don't think he can beat Snoop, because the tracks that Snoop went famous for, everybody knows it. Even people that don't really like rap, if you play them that song, they're like, "Yes, that's Snoop Dogg. I know that song." If somebody doesn't really like rap and you play them a DMX song, they may or may not know him.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
I
that's a good
definitely agree.
processing right there.
Like I was looking at some of Snoop hits, beautiful. What is DMX going to counter that with?
Yeah.
Gin and Juice, Vado, like you said, Lottie Dottie, Sexual Eruption, Drop It Like It's Hot. Let's go to DMX catalog. Um, just give me 1 second to pull it up. X gonna give it to you. Rough Riders Anthem, Party Up, Where the Hood. Like X got more street records.
Yeah. But
Snoop has more.
they all sound the same though, right? They have a
Correct.
similar feel.
Correct.
DMX will give you that song, and it's a good song, and he will keep giving you that same song, and he'll repackage it, new beat, new lyrics, same energy, same type, but it's the same song. It really is.
So let me ask you this, since you mentioned that. Do you think X was one of the first persons to start that trend? Because now you see that with the baby and a whole bunch of other rappers now, like that same similar style, just basically copying and pasting the same song on a different beat.
Yeah, so you're saying Exhibit? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk to them.
man, man, Exhibit, if he would have been around in the game another 5 or 6 years, because he was pretty hot around early 2000 times, that would have been somebody that would have been good to put up against DMX. Because you talk about similar rappers, similar style, the same type of track that they're putting out. But they didn't do that because DMX would crush him just based on longevity
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Just on longevity. So if you had somebody like Exhibit that was doing that for, say, 10 total years, then you would have a case, because you're exactly right. They make a very similar type of music, and it's all the same. It really is. And it's not bad.
All right.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's all similar.
All right, let me ask you this. Now, did you hear about DMX calling out Eminem?
No, I did not.
Ooh, yeah, that was the first challenge that DMX put out. I want to say that happened maybe about 2 months ago. Yeah, about 2 months ago, he called out Eminem, and Eminem never responded. So now I guess this is why they hooking up the Snoop and DMX thing. But how would you? And me personally, I didn't think that was a fair battle. I think Eminem would have just, I wouldn't say crushed him, but he has, like I said, more of a bigger records than DMX. Would you think that would have been the same thing, or it would have been more? It would have been a better match than Snoop and DMX.
So so lyrically, right? So I'm a white guy, so when I say I like Eminem, people are like, "Well, yeah, you're a white guy. Of course you like Eminem." But when I talk about just bar structure and overall ability, and just lyrics, right? So you talk about bars, I truly feel like Eminem is probably top 3 or 4 right now. And then you add in the fact that his overall
Right.
longevity in the game and the amount of albums and sales he had, yeah, I don't even think it's a contest, man. I think Eminem wins that. They don't even need to do the 20 songs. It's just done.
That's what I said. But you
Yeah.
think well, you did say right now. You did say right now, as far as Eminem is the top, one of the tops right now, as far as bars and all of that. Right now, I do
Yeah,
agree. I do
man,
agree.
and how I write my lyrics, so I'm a speed rapper. I slow it down. I do all that as well, but I like to put syllables together at a high level. And so I appreciate when other artists do that, right? So when you talk about Eminem, he's rhyming 5 or 6 syllables. He's telling a story. He's changing up his cadences. He's going fast. He's going slow. Punchlines, crazy punchlines, right? You talk about DMX. He has a hard flow. Like he gets you amped up. You're going. You're listening to DMX.
Energy.
Um, but he's energy. Yeah, he's rhyming 1 or 2 syllables. He's barking. He's hyping you up, and it's great. But as far as actual ability at a high level, man, Eminem takes that cake every day of the week.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. So who would you put against Eminem then? Let's ask that.
Um, I'm a big fan of Nas, and M was a big fan of Nas. So, man, I grew up listening to Nas. I feel like Illmatic, without that album Illmatic, hip hop would not even be where it is today. And Eminem was able to go after Illmatic, right? And so before that, you look at oh man, what was Dr. Dre their group with Easy E? Oh man, why am I drawing a blank?
NWA.
Thank you,
NWA.
thank you. So you're talking about simple rhyme schemes like cruising down the street in my 6'4", rhyming one
Yeah.
syllable and all that, right? And then Nas comes out, and Nas is putting together different cadences. He's rhyming 3 or 4 syllables at a time. He's telling a story. He did that song Rewind. Remember that song Rewind? He spit
Sir.
a rap.
Sir.
He spit a rap backwards, bro. He spit a rap backwards. Like you talk about just defining eras. And his ability to do that really pushed rap forward. So I feel like Eminem would probably take that battle by popular vote. But I almost guarantee you, if you were to ask Eminem who was the better rapper or who did more, he might vote for Nas there, man. He would
Yeah.
probably vote for Nas because without Nas, you don't get Eminem of today, right? So
That's
I
a
would put
fact.
Nas in that conversation. I would put Biggie in that conversation. I would put Pac. Pac was a workhorse. Pac was in there 3-4 hours a day just recording tracks. He would make a couple songs a day, man. That's why he died. He died, bro, and had like 3 albums after that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I always tell people that Big
Man,
was partying and bullshitting while Pac was working.
yeah. Biggie in 5 years put out 2 albums. That's it. That's it, man. And Pac put out
That's
an
crazy.
album every like 6 months, and then he died, and he still kept doing it.
Yeah. And if you look at that in the way music is coming out today, like that sound crazy. You put
Yeah,
out 2 albums of like that's crazy. Crazy. That sound crazy in this era. For
yeah.
real, for real.
And he reached that
Uh,
point too. And Eminem's at that point where he didn't even have to market. He would just drop an album. There was no marketing.
let me
Boom.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying
Let me ask
he
you
didn't have
this.
to market.
Um, oh yeah, yeah. Just off his name alone, he's selling a million first week. That's a fact.
Just
That's a
drop it.
fact.
Yep.
That's a fact. Let me ask you this. Now, do you think because a lot of people say Eminem is not in a top 5 or top 10. How do you feel about that?
Um, man, I have him in my top 5. So I feel like there's different styles of rap, and people like different things.
And
And
they said he don't have content as well.
say that again.
They said a lot of people say he raps about nothing. He has no content because he's a mega. They feel like he's a mega star, and he just don't. He don't relate to hip hop no more. He's out the bubble. He's not in loop with what's going on.
So when I look at like, let's look at Music to Be Murdered By, right? His new album. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You look at tracks like
Oh, I
Godzilla.
like that.
I would agree. I would agree with them based on Godzilla. Godzilla's insane cadences, rhyme scheme, ability, words per minute, all of those things. But he's not really rapping about anything, right? But you look at songs on that album like No Regrets that are completely slept on. No Regrets, completely heartfelt. He's
I
telling a
agree.
story. Yeah.
I
Oh,
agree.
man. I feel like that's a great song. So I think that's an excuse um, to keep Eminem out of the top five. But man,
Conversation.
in my book, he's on Mount Rushmore of rap. He really is. He's top five. I would put him there with Biggie. I'd put him there with Pac. I would put him there with Nas. And then so that would be four right there. And then man, I know I'm gonna get some hate for this, but as far as my thoughts on who I'd put that fit spot on, I'm a big fan of Joe Budden. I really am.
Yeah, I'm not gonna front. I wouldn't give him I would give him maybe he's in my top 10.
So I
All the mode
appreciate,
music.
bro. I
Go ahead.
appreciate that you actually say that because nobody gives him his respect, and he's opposite of me in my styles. But man, his ability to make a pen bleed and just spit that emotion. Rappers are rapping about Escalades on 20-inch rims and this, that, and the third, and he's rapping about how he could be a better father or real shit that I can relate to, man. And I
Yeah, yeah.
appreciate that. I really do.
Like all them. First of all, I'm from Jersey, so that's Joe. That's home team right there. All the mode musics, all of them like, to me they classics. They classic. And he
They
was.
are.
I like what I liked about him was that he was on top of the game before like everybody else. He was on the internet before everybody else, and all of that. He was on podcasting before everybody else. Like he was always ahead of the curve. That's
Yeah.
what I always loved about Joe.
New Joe Budden. Yep.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you
He
would put
slept on,
Joe in your
completely overlooked. And man, when he got signed by Eminem and he was doing that Slaughterhouse, and I hope that last Slaughterhouse records come out. Man, I was excited. And then they started beefing, and everyone's like, "Hey, CB, who do you like more, Eminem or Joe Budden?" I'm like, man, they can beef all they want. I still love them both, and I will always support both of them.
who you think was the best out of Slaughterhouse? Joe? Don't be
Uh,
biased now. Don't be biased.
oof, oof. Yes, my favorite is Joe. And Royce is nasty, and I like Royce a lot.
Nasty, nasty.
He's a great lyricist, man. But yes, Joe Budden was the one that if I had to look at the rapper that I would listen to the most verses on or look forward to the most, it would be Joe Budden out of Slaughterhouse. And I would put Royce second, and then man, I'm a big fan of King. Oh my gosh, I'm losing it right now. It's late out here. Um, the West Coast guy, man. He just did an interview with Eminem. You know what I'm talking about?
Um,
From Slaughterhouse. But I would put him third. Man, it's gonna drive me nuts. I'll think of it in a second as soon as I stop thinking about it. And then Joel Ortiz, I would put last out of those. King Crooked, thank you, King Crooked.
Flash Crook.
Yeah, Crooked, I would put him third, man, right after Royce, and then I'd put Joel Ortiz fourth out of Slaughterhouse.
I would go. I would go Joe first. I think we might have the same lineup. I don't. I think I will put Crook second, and then Royce third, and then Joel's fourth. But I
Yeah,
like Joel though. Like that. It make me feel bad because I like Joel.
yeah. But that's why Slaughterhouse is great. That's why they're so
Yeah,
good is because you have a great rapper that you put last. That's why they made great hits, right? They made great tracks. The fact that they didn't blow up on a national platform or get to the level that I thought they could have been at is kind of sad, man, because I remember being I don't know how old, man, 2012, 2013, and they're starting to put out Slaughterhouse tracks and they're signed with Eminem and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, man, they're going places. And I was expecting radio songs and expecting all this. and you talk about lyrically, they're crushing people on tracks, and it's not even close. And then they don't even get on the radio, and I don't even understand it. Makes no
Well, to be,
sense.
I understand why the radio, because none of them was radio single artists. Like, to be honest with you, none of them was radio single artists. I couldn't even imagine what a radio single by them would sound like. It would probably
Yeah,
be on some. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine with all four of them on a radio single, to maybe talking about some girl or some club. I couldn't. I don't even think I would want to hear it, honestly. But I can understand that. But I think that being signed to Eminem, that they had bigger expectations, and we had bigger expectations because they were signed to Eminem. They was,
yeah.
four great nurses as well. So on that note, how do you are you familiar with Griselda Blanco, Benny the Boom, Benny the Butcher, and all of them?
Yes, I am. Yep.
How you feel about them?
I haven't heard too much of their stuff, but I'm a big fan of Benny the Butcher. Um, yeah, I haven't overall heard too much of their stuff though. I really haven't.
Yeah, they remind me of basically the modern day locks, the modern day
Okay.
locks,
Yeah.
but just a little more clean cut, a little bit more polished. No radio singles, but my thing with them is I'm surprised that they at the height that they at now, being that they coming with the street music, because I see a whole bunch of artists out there like Young M.A., Dave East, and other artists that come with that street element, and they never go nowhere.
Yeah.
One hit wonders, if that.
Man, and it's crazy. So I talk about like when I was growing up, man, you listen to Biggie and Pac on the radio outside of like Dear Mama, but they had some real songs on the radio. And nowadays, so back in the day, those would be like some of my favorite songs on an album, right? In the 90s, the radio songs were like the best songs on the album. And nowadays, when I talk about rappers,
Facts.
their radio songs are like their worst songs on the album, but they had to make that track to put it on the
Yeah.
radio. And it's just a different
Yeah.
world. It's a different world now. It really is. I used to like the radio, 1995, 98. Radio was great. Right now, I don't even listen to it, man. I'm on XM radio or listening to music on my phone, you know?
Yeah, I felt like that with the baby. I like when I first heard Suge, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like him. But then I heard his album, and I was like, whoa, like Suge was the wackest song off his album, and that
Yeah.
was the number one smash hit. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And like you said, back in our time, in our era, it was basically the radio hit was the best song, and
Yeah.
it's just crazy now. It's
It
crazy
is.
now.
It's exact opposites, and I don't get it, man. And what I think it is it's all about beats right now and who makes the best beat, and then you have the good beat, and then you have a bunch of people that don't listen to lyrics. But I'm a bar head. Like I listen to bars. I appreciate them. I'll play it back. I'll listen to a Joe Budden or an Eminem song or a Royce song or Joyner Lucas now or any of these guys. I'll replay the song and 5 times into hearing it, I'm catching a new bar that I really didn't understand the time before. You know, Young M.A.'s doing great punchlines like that. Man, I was listening to Music to
Yeah.
Be Murdered By, and I realized when she was like, "I'm on my Drake mode," and then she literally spelled out Drake with like her first 5 words after that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's why she said that," you know? And dude, I listened to that shit for like 2 weeks before I caught that, you know?
She's nice. She's very underrated. Nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very underrated. Very underrated. But
Agreed.
I think that in the way music is consumed now, like a lot of people want to know what you're doing outside of music. Like now it's not just about the music. They want to know who you fucking, who you dating, what kind of car you really driving, how much money you posting on Instagram. Like it's everything besides the music.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like it's a lane for everybody. If you want to listen to lyrical rappers, you have your Kendrick Lamars, your J. Cole's, and all of that. If you want to listen to trap rappers, you have the 21 Savages, the Kodak Blacks, and this, that, and the third. Like, it's a lane for everybody now. It's just crazy. It's a little
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, and it's about marketing now, right? So you talk about in the 90s, it was literally about who made the best music. And that's it because there was no social media. Who had the best bars, who had the best sound? You sent out an actual CD disc and people played it. Right now, what record producers are looking for, You know, you send them a song. It doesn't matter if they like it or not. They get on your YouTube. They see how many subscribers you have. They see how many followers you have on Instagram. And if you can't generate a following by yourself as an artist, it doesn't matter if you're making Illmatic style music. They don't care. It's a no-go for them.
That's a fact. That's a
Yep.
fact. But why
It's all
is
about
it
marketing.
like that? I understand it, but then I don't understand because it's like you just signing anybody. You don't know what you signing. And speaking on that, did you see news on those
Say
about
that
them
again. You're
suing
breaking up.
QC? Did you see the news about the Migos suing QC?
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I did.
label?
Yep.
Speaking
Man,
on that, like they go ahead.
here, you're breaking up. Let me add you to my Wi-Fi real quick.
Good, man.
I think we're good. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. You can hear me?
Yep. Yeah, my bad. My Wi-Fi was tripping out. Say that last part again.
Now I was feeling like damn, I lost my train of thought. Totally lost my train, but that's what the ganja do to you. Sorry.
No worries. Well, we were talking about why record labels only look for people that can generate fans, and you're right,
Yeah.
man, because I don't understand it. I don't, because right, so say Eminem can sign Homeless John off the street, okay? Homeless John, and then Homeless John can put out an album and Eminem can help market it, and that guy would get streams on Spotify right away. So long as the guy has good music, a dope producer like that or somebody with a big name could help push it. So the fact that they look for rappers that can kind of generate a decent following by themselves, I mean, I get it, but at the end of the day, I really feel like it's lost the focus from the music, and it needs to go back to what the music is, because the marketing can be figured out later. It really can.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. Like it's totally. I feel like the music industry is lost in the sauce, as I would call it. Totally lost in the sauce. Like you said, it's about everything besides the music. Like you said, you go on Instagram, you see somebody got 200,000 Instagram followers, and they got a link in their bio, sign them. And then
Yeah.
on the back end of that, you ended up signing them, and then you get into a situation like the Migos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a catch-22.
Well, it really is, man. I mean, I look at myself right now. So I have a real 9 to 5 job and me putting out music, and I just decided to put out this new album. So I had a track on a Wu-Tang Clan mixtape in 2012, and then I took like 8 years off, and I just started making music again. And now I'm having to go on Instagram all the time and post updates and pictures and videos, because if you don't do it, there's no point, right? And at the end of the day, that's not what music's about. Anybody can post a picture to YouTube and use a filter and do all those things. My passion is with actually putting out good, high quality music. So yes, you're correct, man. It's completely lost right now. But I'm feeling okay because I'm happy. Joyner came out. I'm a big fan of Joyner.
Me
So
too. Me too.
a lot of good artists are coming out that are really good marketers that are actually getting more about lyrics, because a couple years ago I was lost in rap, man. I was listening to nothing but people that were dead. You know, Tupac, Biggie, or Nas. You know, Nas ain't dead, but man, I was lost in rap a couple years ago, and now there's actually new music being put out that I genuinely like and follow, and I feel like we're starting to head back in the right direction.
Yeah, the same way with me. Like I right now I'm taking my time off as far as making beats. Like I was full throttle making beats. Basically, I've been making beats since basically 2007. So I had a couple TV placements or whatever, but lately these last I would say last year and a half, I've been uninspired by the music that's been coming out, like the 3 note beats and all of that. Like I came up in an era to where you really had to make a beat and you know really had to construct a song and hook and all of that. Now it's just like a 3-note beat, 808s, nice little hook, throw it out, it's a hit. And that kind of really uninspired me to make beats. So I kind of, like you said, fell back, and now I'm just doing podcasting now. So I feel like I'm inspired. Because right now I'm not hearing too much anything that's inspiring me to make me want to, get back in the studio and just cook up something.
Yeah, and I
To be truthfully
completely understand that, man. And it was a disheartening feeling.
Yeah.
It's tough because it's something you're so passionate about for so long, and then all of a sudden it changes. And I think that all started with Soldier Boy, in my opinion. I'm not knocking the guy, but he sucks. So I guess I am knocking the guy. Man, those tracks are complete garbage. You have a decent sounding beat, and then you have a decent hook. Soldier Boy, oh, and then I mean it goes viral. It's
Million.
absolutely
Yeah.
and then that started like an 8-year period of just garbage rap, and I was man, I was like ashamed, I was like just like disgusted at what the rap community was putting out. I couldn't even believe it. And the fact you go places, they're playing it, they're dancing to it, they love it. I'm just like, man, these people are idiots, they're idiots. How are you liking this shit? It's disheartening.
Man, I was going through the same exact thing. Like, man, arguing with people, debating with people. Like, it just came to a point in time I just said, you know what, y'all can have it. But it came to a point in time that, and this is going on a little tangent, but it came a point in time to where I felt myself arguing with like younger people. I'm gonna be honest, I'm 31. So I'll be arguing with somebody maybe like 21, 22, and they'll be like, hey, Drake is better than Jadakiss. And I'm, whoa, what you talking about? But it took me a long time. It took me a long time to figure this out, was that they grew up on Drake. They didn't really grow up on Jadakiss. Just like how I didn't really grow up on Rakim, and my brothers and them used to be telling me, hey, Rakim is the best one, da da da. And I'm looking at him like, nah, I don't care about him. He may be great to you, but mine's is G Unit, D Block. That's my type of music. So I kind of understand where the young generation is coming from, but they got to learn to put some respect on some of these older rappers, man. For real.
For sure. Well, hey, I'm 32, so that apparently that's why we see very similar. And so we grew up in the same time period then. So I'm 32 years old. Same era. And yes, when I was a kid, that's what it was all about, man. G Unit, 50 Cent, the Game came over, that Game and
Yeah.
50 Deep. I mean, but that was dope, man. They're fire rappers and lyricists, and you talk about Eminem, and then so technically, Tupac and Biggie were technically before my time, but that's all I bumped in like middle school. So I was listening to
Wu-Tang.
Yeah, Wu-Tang. Yes, exactly, man. And when I got that feature on that Wu-Tang track, I was like super excited, man. Like it was like a big deal to me, It was like a big deal to me. And man, so it was like 5 years ago. I was talking to somebody and I was like, yeah, I was featured on this Wu-Tang track, and they're like, who? They're like, who? And I'm like, oh my God, you don't even know who Wu-Tang is?
Disrespect.
It's like,
That's
you don't
crazy.
even know who Wu-Tang is? Like, yeah.
That's crazy.
No idea. And they were like a hardcore rap fan, bro. Like they loved rap, listened to rap, knew all about new age rap, and then never even heard of Wu-Tang.
That's crazy. That's crazy right there. That would have blew my mind. Like, whoa, like, come on, man, you got to do your research or something.
Well,
I can't talk hip hop.
I was like, hold on, you gonna listen to some music real quick, And I pulled out my phone and started playing some Wu-Tang.
I got one Wu-Tang story. It was maybe about 2 months ago. I was at work and the Cream song came on, right? And I heard this young boy, he was rapping it. So I'm like, you don't know nothing about them. He's like, yeah, I do. So I'm like, all right, well, who that rapping? He's like, all right, man, you don't know nothing about them. It's okay. It's okay. If you don't know nothing about them, it's okay. Just say it, but don't sit here and act like you know who rapping and this, that, and the third. I was like, man, these people is crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like they just need to, some of the younger artists, like real talk, they just need to at least pay homage. You ain't got to disrespect them and talk crazy, even though I get where they coming from, because a lot of older rappers, they do talk down on the younger rappers. I understand the divide in generation, but we got to come to some type of agreement, something, man.
Yeah, well, just at least appreciate, well, realize that that is what created your music today, you know? And I think that was big for me too. So when I listen to, man, even you talk about Tupacalypse now, Tupac's first album, I can't even bump it because it sounds too 80s, you know? Like it's like the beats and
Yeah.
everything are my thing. Like I'm just like, I don't like this. It sounds like, you know, LL Cool J type music. And I'm not saying LL Cool J's music's bad. I'm just saying that it was before my time and it's not my type of music. You know, it's not my type of beats. And then you have artists
Mm,
like Nas and Eminem that looked up to rappers like LL. So you just have to realize that it's all an evolution. Every new page that gets turned creates a new page for new artists to write their own history on, and so on and so forth. And each new page of history would not be possible without the previous page. You know what I mean?
facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Facts. Facts.
So I have my
Well,
own cadences, my own punchlines, my own abilities right now, and that's from inspiration listening to current artists and past artists. And if none of that had happened before, I would not be able to write like I write, and so on and so forth, man. So it's all a part of something, and it all goes together. It really does. It's all part of the same kind of movement.
facts. 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 Well said, Erica Troublefield. Facts. Facts. Facts, man. Like, so where? How long have you been? Like, where did you start? When did you start taking like rap serious?
uh I graduated high school 2006. Actually, I was kicked out of high school, but um around that time I was rapping, right? So 2005, 2006, but I was spitting bars, man. And then about 2009 I put out my first album, and
Mm-hmm.
it was garbage, bro. It was garbage. I had crappy producers. I sucked. I listen back on it now and I cringe, you know. And then I joined a top three ranked group coalition in Colorado, with Devious, King Devious out there, and I got a lot of connections from them, man. And then I put out a pretty decent album in gutter music, and I did that with my boy Prophet, and that got some pretty good traction to where I got heard by Wu Tang, and I released on their mixtape, and it went overseas and all that. And then I wasn't making enough money, man. So I quit rap for a while. I kind of lost the passion for it. It was around that time that Soldier Boy came out. I didn't like the music. I didn't like where music was headed. And, you know, I started selling houses and got in real estate and moved out to Boise. I got married. I have a kid, bought a house, all those things, you know. And then I really started coming around to doing another album about 4 months ago. And I either go all in or I don't do it. So
Same
I'm
with me.
So otherwise, it's not worth it, right? If you're not going to do it right, don't do it. That's my philosophy. So
Facts.
I'm 5 tracks into this. I'm releasing my second pre-release over the weekend, and I've gotten really good feedback, man. And it's getting some positive hits, and I'm excited for it, man. And I'm not doing it to make a bunch of money or anything, but I'm doing it because I'm passionate again, and I'm just happy to be releasing music, and I'm spitting some deep bars that I'm truly passionate about. So I'm thankful for it.
Facts. We definitely got to play that on here. What's the name of the project?
The name of the project is called Introspection. And
Introspection. That.
introspection is the study of your own mental processes and emotional processes. So I put myself through a lot of fucked up situations in the past. I'm a felon. I slept in my car when I was 16. Um, I worked hard to get to where I'm at now and have a daughter and a family. And I have a lot of shortcomings, man. I have a lot of issues that I'm dealing with as a person. And rather than come off and rap about, you know, nice cars and this, that, and the third, I'm being completely real and more of a Joe Budden style, I guess, but with like more Eminem, Royce type lyrics to where it's heartfelt stuff,
Yeah.
because that's, to me, it's my release. You know what I mean? That's I
Therapy.
do this as self medicine. Yes.
Yeah. You got me ready to listen to it already. Like I ain't even gonna lie to you.
I appreciate.
The
Did
way
you
you
check out
just
that
put
track I sent you?
that, man. Nah, nah. You sent it to the inbox or the email?
I think, man, I sent it to shit. I
Let me
think I
check.
commented on the thread. Here, let me
Oh
send it
yeah,
to you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I seen it on the thread. Yeah.
So I just messaged you on Facebook, But anyways, that's the first pre-release, and that's Introspection, the intro. And then my next project I'm dropping with a rapper that I'm a huge fan of, man, and I'm proud to have him on a track. His name is Poetic, and I kill it, man. And so does he. So does he. But I start rapping a mile a minute and deep bars, crazy punchlines in it. So I'm excited for that, man. So I'm gonna have 4 or 5 pre-releases out of 12 total tracks, and this is all hip hop. Everything, no bullshit. 100% up to my standards. 100% of the time. Like I said, all in or all out, and I'm all in.
That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear. I'm trying to pull it up on here so we can give it a play. Yeah, I did see it in the messages too. Just give me 1 second. When you say you're about 5 tracks in?
Yeah, I have 5 tracks recorded as of now. But this is going to be my second pre-release. But after 4 or 5 tracks that I pre-release and do it right, I'm doing lyric videos outside of this first one that you're going to see. So yeah, I'm doing 12 tracks, maybe 13, depending on what I come up with. But after that, it's all going to be for sale. I'll give away 4 or 5 tracks, but I spend a lot of money on this. I do it right. I have good producers. I pay for beats. I don't, I used to just use the homies for stuff. But like I said, this is all going to be 100% up to my standards, studio quality. It needs to be able to be played against mainstream artists and then sound exactly like that, quality-wise.
Facts. Have you ever looked into music licensing?
Music licensing?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I'm a little twisted, don't mind.
Well, I'm buying so every beat that I buy is all exclusive license. And I technically own my own record label. That I just started an LLC, so that way I can have my write-offs and correlate that with my real estate business as well. But outside of that, man, the goal right now is simply to produce an album that's all mine and 100% owned by me at the highest level. And then I have that forever. And whether that does well or doesn't do well, it is what it is, right?
Facts. I think you should check in the music licensing as well too, man. That's a whole nother check too. How songs, even throwaway songs that you may not even want to put on the album, or just send them to some distribution companies or whatever, and they may pick it up for a documentary or something like that. You never know.
Man, I would love to hear more about that, because that could be beneficial, because I'm probably going to record about 18 tracks and then trim it down to about 12.
Facts, man. That's what I always tell, like, any artist, producer, like, throwaway stuff that you may never use, or even some of your old stuff that you may think is corny. You never know, somebody else may like it and want to use it on a song, or use it on a background, or use it as a jingle or commercial.
Well, that Wu-Tang track that I released, I feel like was super dope. So, but that's 10 years old, so I would sell that in a heartbeat. I really would. Yep, that's it right there.
There we go. Let me play you. Can you hear?
I can, yeah.
You get.
I know my brain can use some true help. The game has begun officially. I'm in the driver's seat. I'm a beast and I'm a feast on every beat in front of me. Dog, beat on my chest just like I'm King Kong. Yeah, my mind just might seem strong, but right and wrong are going back and forth like a game of ping pong. My demented mind has spent the time to question why we're truly here. So step inside, connect the lines, you will get a souvenir. Maybe it's cause my highs feel lower. Maybe it's cause I'm psycho. Maybe it's cause my lows feel lower. Maybe it's standard human cycles. Maybe I should stay more sober. Shit, what the hell do I know? Mine's cold, life's plateaued. I'll continue to grow. Although when my woe overflows in my soul, it's like my end is so it's close. 2 shots overdose till I go comatose. Brain overload, insane. The pain make it rain, can't explain. I'm about to explode. causing damage to any inadequate faggot and backstabber, spitting like an automatic, killing all of these bastards. I used to be manic, but now I'm mad at that I'm fully unraveling every bully I'm rattling. How could he be standing after I fully dismantle him? Grappling with a mind, feeling fury. I'm managing and the judge and the jury are chattering. Then I got a witty imagining which institution to have me inhabiting. I'm the beat undertaker, fuck a hater. Lawnmower out, I'm about to cut some stakes up. Don't come around my way, bro. I'm sick of the liars, the fakers with hit agendas, pretending that they defending and trying to save us. Disguises your neighbors. Really, all they ever cared about from the fucking beginning was going after your trust and to win it, so you could be finished and fucking diminished. Introspection sets in when I'm stressing. I'm analyzing every single imperfection. Why can't I show my daughter the proper affection? She be begging for connection, but my past was hectic, full of gunshots and shit that I don't even like to mention. I was raised in a different dimension, so to me being tough on her is more about preparation and protection. Hoping that I see things clearer like Mike Jack. Staring at the man in the mirror while drinking a Miller. Many things to consider besides rap. Want the best for my daughter, I'm hoping I can deliver besides that. Drinking every day and I try to stop, but I might lapse. Justifying my actions when it comes to liquor, cause at least I'ma arm you and find tracks, and I don't want my daughter to think of me like that. Even though I'm in a position in life that I'll be finally winning, I find my head spinning. I'm beginning to think that this is the ninth inning, and if I don't find different, then I might end it. I remember when I was 16, sleeping in my car, spitting 16s. It was December in the middle of winter in Denver with nothing but a shirt on my back, a pocket full of coke and some big dreams. And that was just 16 years ago. I'm 32 now. I look in the mirror like, who the fuck are you now? To my dad and my mom, I hope that I made you proud. This is my collection. Welcome to Introspection.
Yo. Hold down. Let me bring it back face to face real quick. That was hard.
You like that? You like that?
That was hard. Yes, sir. And I'm not even gonna lie, man. No problem. I'm not even gonna lie. And I'm a tough critic. As you can see, it's the Tough Critics podcast, and I always keep it 100. I'm 1,000% non-biased. But that shit was hard, man. Like, I felt the authenticity in everything you were saying. Like, even if we didn't talk and you didn't tell me nothing about you, I felt the authenticity in everything you were saying. Like, that shit was real rap, man. Definitely real rap. Yeah, I definitely fuck with it.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. So I'm gonna message you my next pre-release that's gonna be coming out. I'm just waiting for the lyric video. I have the song and everything, but I want something visual for people to look at on YouTube. So I'll have that done within the next couple of days, and I'll send it to you so you can check it out. I'd love to get your feedback on it.
Yes, sir. And you got to shout the producer out. Did you make the beat?
No. Chef Premier made the beat. So Verzuz, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Waval or something like that. It's Wvalle. Chef Premier. He's cooked up some tracks for Tech Nine. He's actually a good friend of mine that lives back in Denver. So he's made a couple of my tracks. Even 10 years ago, he was making beats, and he's really good, man. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, I like that. That was some real vibe out music. Like, I could definitely vibe out to that for real, man. And I want to thank. Go ahead. No problem, man. Just keep on it. Like, I really appreciate good music. Like, it's real. Like I said before, it's really rare that you have, especially somebody that you really never talk to like that, and you play their music and you actually like it. Like, let's keep it 100. That's real rare, especially for me. Like, if somebody play me their music 9 times out of 10, it's a little so-so. But this shit, I was really feeling like, I'm not even gonna lie.
I appreciate that so much, man. You don't know how much I get hit up on like IG or Facebook or whatever with people that are like, check out my track. I hope you like it. Let's collab. And I listen to it and I'm like, oh my God, dude, you need to quit. And I'm not being mean. I'm being nice, and I'm trying to help you move on to something that could be better suited, because rap is not it. And I mean that nicely. I really do. But dude, everybody wants to be a rapper nowadays. Everybody wants to be a rapper. And I'm like, they don't understand what it takes to actually be a lyricist. You can come up with some easy bars, but to actually come up with punches and schemes and actual real lyrics, man, it's rare. It's so rare that even the majority of the famous people that are making rap are not very good at it, in my opinion.
Facts. I always say this, and you know the saying, you got rappers trying to be NBA players, and you got NBA players trying to be rappers.
Yeah.
And then nowadays, with the way technology is changing, the way music has rapidly coming out, you got these young people, these young boys. They basically, man, I'm not even gonna lie, and no disrespect to Pop Smoke, because I just did a video on him not too long ago, and I was a big fan of his music, but no disrespect to him. He just started rapping a year ago.
Yeah.
A year ago. Like, that blew my mind. Like, wow. That, and you got people out here like you that dedicate themselves with time, lyrics, bars, all of that. And I'm like, it's crazy. It blows my mind, man. It blows my mind, honestly.
It does. I think it comes a lot. So in Colorado, we call it the box state, right? You get trapped in the box. Man, I know so many great lyricists in the box. Poetic is, and he's featured on my next track that's coming out. This guy, Mr. Biscuit. Have you heard of King of the Dot battles?
Yeah.
So he's on King of the Dot. He's battled Fresco. He's getting millions of views on YouTube, and still nobody's heard of him. He's from Colorado, right? So I have Biscuit, Poetic, myself. Man, Devious would be a good example as well. And you get trapped in the box, man. And then you have certain people like Pop Smoke, and I do like Pop's music, and R.I.P. Pop Smoke, and I feel like 50 killed that album that he came out with for him. But like you said, man, the dude's been making music for like a year, got killed, and then it's just weird who gets put up to the front, who gets put to the back. There's no rhyme or reason, man. There's really not. And I know a lot of great artists who make phenomenal music that I feel like would succeed at a high level on the mainstream or on a bigger stage. They just don't get that opportunity, and the odds of them ever getting that opportunity are pretty rare.
But why? That's the real question. Why?
I don't know. And then you have marketing. It's marketing, man. So check this out. When I released that Wu-Tang mixtape, right? That track of Wu-Tang, I was a fucking idiot, bro. I was like 20 years old. So I released that track along with 2 other tracks on YouTube in the same week, like a dumbass. So they were all competing. They were all competing for views, you know what I mean? And so now I have it all strategically placed out. And this track, that introspection intro, has, I don't know, it's like 20,000 views or something, and I just released it like 2 weeks ago. That's more views. That's more views than my my Wu-Tang song had.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy right there. You would have thought the Wu-Tang would have jumped off.
Just by having Wu-Tang in the title, you know? So so I don't, man, it's about marketing. So I'm releasing one track and I'm going all in on marketing it for like a month and a half. And then I release another track and I do the same thing. So that way I wear the track out. I want my fan base to get sick of that song before I release the new one, so I can get the full amount out of that song. And then if I do that for 4 or 5 songs, before you know it, I have 2,000, 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have several hundreds of thousands of views. And then I'm actually releasing my album to a fan base. It's the Joyner method, man. Joyner Lucas is revolutionary because that motherfucker dropped an album and I heard 92% of the songs on that album before it even dropped. And I was mad. That album was great. Don't get me wrong. ADHD was a great album. I love it. I bump it all the time. I have it on repeat in my car still. But I've heard all of the songs pretty much. And my daughter was funny. My daughter was like, "You've already heard all these songs. I don't know why he did that. That was dumb." And I said, the reason he pre-released all those songs is because if he did not do that, he would not have me buying his album because I would have never even heard of him.
Facts.
Right? I would have never heard
of him. That was good.
Yeah.
Great marketing.
Great marketing. Yeah, fantastic marketing. He did that Trump track. Remember that, where he had the black guy and the white guy, and they were going over like politics. Dude. That was good stuff, man. That's revolutionary. He used social media to get famous, and he built up a following and a fan base on Facebook. And nowadays, that's what it takes. It is about the music. So he's the rare cat that has the music and the marketing all in one. Usually a lot of rappers either just have the music or they have the marketing, but they don't have the full package. Joyner had the full package, and that's why he is where he is.
Facts. I mean, Joyner, I think he's a very underrated artist. Very underrated. Like I believe he's up there with the people may try to kill me in the comments for this, but I think he's up there with the J. Cole's, the Kendricks, the Drakes, as far as lyrics.
Man, they can if they kill you in the comments for that, they ain't listening because that's facts right there. So
They don't get
you just named every artist that made me start liking music again. Kendrick, J. Cole, Joyner. The new M came out, man. M before his last album, people didn't even really like his last album, Kamikaze, but I loved it, man. His new flow and his punchlines and how he started killing everybody. I loved it. I was a fan. I still am a fan. So I think about those artists putting out music right now, and I'm actually like excited. Royce, I think Joe Budden's gonna start coming back out of retirement, and now all of a sudden I have like, that's what I heard, man. I heard
Mm,
M and Joe Budden are like resolving their issues right now, and then there's an
yeah.
unreleased Slaughterhouse mixtape that's about to come out, man. So I hope so, right?
Catch that.
That's the word, and I'm excited for it. Bottom line is I have like 5 or 6 artists out right now that I'm like excited for their music, and that renews me and refreshes me as a lyricist because there was like a 4-year period where I didn't have a single artist that I cared about releasing music. That's
Me too.
crazy.
Me too, man. Me too. I'm gonna be honest. And I'm gonna be honest, Kendrick, I'm a little tight at him now. Because he got up, and people may kill me in the comments for this, but fuck it, I'm gonna say it. He was all his Black Power shit years ago, whatever. Where are you at right now? Why are you not speaking up right now when we need you to speak up?
Yeah.
That's my only thing with Kendrick. Everybody else kind of spoke out. Cole spoke out. Drake, we don't expect for him to speak out. He never speaks out about anything. But I was really expecting for Kendrick to speak out and say something, and we haven't heard nothing. So I'm a little. He's on punishment for right now.
And I can respect that, man, because you even have like Eminem speak it out. You know what I mean?
Little baby,
Yeah.
little baby, and I'm
And
not even.
my next song that I dropped, well, I guess it's after this one, the one with Biscuit. I even mentioned shit about that, man. Mentioned shit about cop brutality and shit like that. So yeah, I fully get that, man.
I was like that. That really kind of bothered me. Like as far as with Kendrick, I mean, even though he got music that you can play for times like now, but still, we still need to hear your voice. As far as you being the whole leader of that movement and that content of rap, that's what I feel like he's the leader. So
Yeah, and I
you
can
want to
feel that, man.
he's that.
And what gets me about Kendrick is when I first heard Kendrick, man, I didn't even like Kendrick. It was such a different sound. I listened to him, and it was like the first couple of times I heard his track, I was like, I don't like this. And then I played it a couple more times because I wasn't even sure. And then I was like, man, I like this. And then like 10 plays later, I was like, damn, I really like this, you know? And then I started bumping a bunch of Kendrick, and I was like, my gosh, this guy is something else because he has that weird,
Nice.
yeah, he has that weird
Yeah.
flow. He puts bars together, and his structures and his schemes they're alien like. He's like an alien. You know what I mean? It's insane.
Hey, me and my brother just had this debate maybe about a month ago. And people may kill me in the comments for this, but I said Kendrick had the better verse on the Please Don't Kill My Vibe remix for him and Jay. I'm sorry. I felt like Kendrick had the better verse.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't feel like
A
people
lot
are
more.
in the comments for that.
Man, my brother they was killing me. How can Kendrick have the better? They was breaking down Jay verse. I'm like, I'm sorry. Kendrick just broke it down to a whole nother level. We expect that from Jay. I didn't expect that from Kendrick to come back like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, in his structure, like I said, it's just alien, so it takes a little bit more to appreciate it. When you talk about how he lines up his ones and his twos and his actual rhyme scheme and how he switches his rhyme flow mid scheme, it's at a different level than I've seen pretty much any artist do. And it
Facts.
takes a little bit to appreciate. And that's when it goes back, man. We were just talking about, people nowadays that are listening to, crap music with a good hook and a nice beat. and they call that a good song, and they put it on repeat, and these artists get famous. Man, Kendrick ain't like that. Cole ain't like that. M ain't like that. Royce ain't like that. Joe Budden ain't like that. And they still get, so it's just a different population of people that actually appreciate that type of music. You know what I mean? And Kendrick is an acquired taste, but those that appreciate Kendrick and listen to Kendrick, they all know that he's up there, man. You talk about longevity wise. If we're talking to 10 years from now and he keeps doing what he's doing, are people comparing him to Eminem or Pac or Big or Nas? I mean, that dude has a chance.
Yeah.
He's got a chance.
Yeah, I agree. He 10. Yeah, I say even 15 years from now. I say even 3 years from now. If he keep it up at this pace of putting out the quality music he's putting up, yeah, I can see him being the next Biggie or Pac or in that lane. Definitely.
Yeah.
I see you ain't mentioned Drake in that conversation. No.
See,
you said
I
all
like
the lyricists besides Drake.
I'm 32 is apparently. I like Drake, man. I like Drake, but he ain't even in my top 10, man. I'm gonna be honest.
Why? Because it ghostwriting shit.
Dude, yeah. What? So if you don't write your lyrics, that's an immediate L. Like right off you're stepping on it with an immediate L. To me, that's so. I'm a rapper, bro. If you don't write your lyrics, I can't put you top 10. You know, he's good. Like I like his sound. I like his music. His ghostwriters are great. They do a good job. But yeah, he's not top 10, bro. You have to write your lyrics. That's step one.
He's not even in top 20 for me to keep him 100. Like I'm pushing on you. You don't write your lyrics. I'm sorry. Not even that. You don't even write a 16. You had somebody write a reference track to a 16.
Man, my question is, does he write any of his music?
Yeah. That's where I think Meek Mill won the war. I think Drake won the battle. Well, yeah, Drake won the battle, but Meek Mill won the war because now he got everybody questioning if Drake right or not. It don't matter what he say. Niggas is always gonna be like, well, he had ghostwriter. He had some ghostwriters. So it really don't even matter.
Man,
I don't know, man.
Man, and I was remember when Budden and Drake were kind of dissing a little bit? They were like going at it. And I was stoked for that. I was stoked for that Budden track. And I was going for Budden on that. You know, I was hoping Eminem would step in for Budden because they were cool at the time on Drake. I was hoping that all would go down. None of it did. None of it went down.
Yeah. Buttons, he annihilated Drake. Like the Wake was, oh my God.
The Wake,
oh my God. I still listen to that. I still listen to that now. Like he just annihilated. Drake knew what time it was. He knew he.
Oh, that song got released on a Friday, and I was still living in Colorado, and I was driving. I was showing clients a house, and it was in between showings, and I was just bumping it. I put that thing on repeat the entire time. I couldn't believe it came out. I was just bumping. It was great. Man, I remember that day vividly.
That beat, his delivery, what he was saying, everything was just on point. And Drake, I know once he heard that, he knew what time. Well, he already knew what time it was from Buttons anyway. But once he heard that song, he ain't want no smoke.
Yeah,
whatsoever, man.
And that's not his style. You know, Drake is more for the teeny boppers, and my daughter loves Drake, bro. My daughter loves Drake. You know.
He said the teeny boppers.
That's his fan base, you know. It is, and adults can like Drake and all that, and I like Drake. There's a couple Drake songs I like, but like you said, man, when you don't write your own bars, I'll appreciate you as an artist and your sound looks good, but I'm not going to compare you to actual rappers that actually rap and write their own music because it's a different category. He's a performer. He's not an artist. Let's be honest. An artist creates. Right. He does not create. He performs other people's creations, right? That's what that is. That's all what it is.
Let me ask you this. Now, this was the catch-22 when I was debating that too. A lot of people were saying, Well, he wrote Kanye. He wrote for other artists. So, I mean, that's cool that you wrote for other artists. Okay, you can write for others, but that don't exclude you having somebody write for you.
Yeah, so if you write for other artists, that doesn't make you not a lyricist. That makes you so much of a lyricist that you're in demand to where other people that are not actual lyricists will pay you for your bars because they cannot come up with their own. So that does not exclude you. That's a dumb argument if they think of that.
The Drake stands was at me. I posted that on Instagram. There's immediate 100 comments. Drake stands, like, they go hard for Drake and Nicki. I don't know what it is. You say anything bad about them on social media, they coming for your head. And that's a whole fact. They coming for you.
Okay, Killer Beats, let me ask you something. Cardi B or Nicki, who you got?
Nicki.
Thank you.
Nicki.
See,
I can't, like you said, ghostwriting.
Yeah. So my producer, who's done man, his name is Michael Reiser, and he's been in this for a long time, man. I love him. He's the best producer I ever worked with, and so he's done some work, and I think has done some work associated with Cardi B, and she can't hit a beat. She cannot start on time ever, so they have to chop her beat up and like nonstop because she cannot start on time. So they constantly have to like adjust her beat. Like, she's terrible at recording. She's absolutely terrible at recording.
Yes.
I feel like Nicki is more of an artist, and once again, Nicki paved the way for somebody like Cardi. Cardi has some great tracks. I don't know that she wrote her tracks, but I would take Nicki any day of the week. I really would.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Nicki is more seasoned. She has more of a brand, more of an artist. And I just feel like the only thing that really hurt Nicki was her attitude. Like, if she didn't have a fucked up attitude, she'd be all right. But the attitude is what kind of made people like Cardi a little bit more because she was more relatable and everything. But if Nicki didn't have an attitude, she'd be good. She'd still have that throne. Now, the real question is, I don't even know if it's a real question, but I'm going to ask you that. Megan or Nicki? Because they both write their own shit. They both kind of nice.
I still go with Nicki there, man.
Nicki?
I still go with Nicki. Let me get your thoughts on that.
See, it's really an unfair comparison because Nicki got a little bit more material out, but and I can't even believe I'm thinking this long about this situation. It got to be Nicki, but god damn. Yeah, it got to be Nicki. It got to be. But Meg is nice too. She's not far off.
And I would agree with that for sure. I just think Nicki and what she's done, and so when she came in, she was really the only female artist that was worth a damn. Like, we're talking years and years past. Yeah. Who was the biggest rapper before Nicki that was a female? Missy Elliott? How long ago was Missy? Right?
Yeah.
Name another one. Name another rapper. I mean, you can think of singers like Lauryn Hill and all that, but I'm talking female rappers. And don't give me no Iggy. Iggy is garbage.
Eve, but she wasn't as big as Nicki.
I think Nicki and what she did with Wayne, and I think she put female artistry back on the map and made that a thing again as far as rappers go. As far as female rappers. She was the first female lyricist that was coming out that actually had guys that would bump her. Before that, Missy Elliott, I don't know about you, bro. I never bought a Missy Elliott CD and was bumping in my car. It came on the radio.
The radio.
I wasn't bumping Missy Elliott. But Nicki has some bars and some structure, and she would come out with some good songs. She was featuring with artists that I like. I've actually paid to download some of her music. I paid my money to do that. There's very few female artists that would actually get that from males. Males do not respect on a natural level. They do not respect female rappers unless they bring it. They're not just going to give them a pass because they're cute and have nice tits. They got to come out and spit some shit. And Nicki was the first one to come out and actually do that.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I give you all of that. I can't debate none of that. I can't debate it. I just think Cardi is just a little bit more relatable. That's why she got her spot where she at. And of course the ghostwriters.
Yeah, for sure. And she has good sound, man. My wife's favorite rap artist would be Cardi B. It would.
Cardi?
Oh yeah. My wife was bumping
I mean,
that. When she got famous, her first song that was coming out, my wife was bumping that all the time. I got fucking sick of that song, man. She was bumping it so much. So she hit it. That means that she did her job and she hit where she needed to hit and she marketed where she needed to market. She did that show with Chance the Rapper and T.I. Remember that on Netflix?
Yeah.
You know, I forget what that was called, but you know, she was doing good at marketing and she was selling herself as a sex symbol, you know, but still had good bars and good sound. And you know, she did a good job. She literally followed in Nicki's footsteps. That's exactly what she did.
Even down to the same hair.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yep. Black Barbie doll, right?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
What, it's like what
I
it
know
was.
she,
Black Barbie doll.
I know she's definitely on the clock now. I can tell you that right now because she is going on what 2 years. She ain't put an album out. I don't know if you're gonna be able to hold that title for much longer when Meg is constantly putting hits out. I don't know, Cardi.
Yeah,
she's definitely on the clock, man.
And is she even working on a project? I haven't heard anything about Cardi in a while.
Not the only thing I hear about her is bullshit. I hear blogs them about music.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I heard like a Cardi track. You're onto something because here pretty soon, if she doesn't do something, it's gonna fall off, man. You either use it or you lose it. You're either marketing and putting out new music or your history, and it happens fast. I mean, it takes artists a year. So the best of the best artists put out an album a year, right? And after 6 months of releasing an album, they're old news. They're literally old news for the next 6 months until they put out a new album. That's just how it works.
That's a fact. And it's going to get shorter than that. I say it's going to be every 3 months and within the next 2 years. Every 3 months because the way music is being consumed, I call it the microwave era. For real, like it's just in and out. It's hot. What's hot now on to the next, man.
Well, it's instant gratification, right? Everybody wants things now. It has to be now, right?
Facts.
Regardless of what it is, right? If you call a business and they're not open, you call the next business and you call the next business. You don't leave a message. You're not waiting for people to get back to you. When's the last time you left a voicemail for somebody? Everybody wants something right now. So if you're not dropping something and if you're not meeting consumer demands on a monthly basis, right, it's gonna move past you really quick. That's just how it is.
That's a fact, man. Well, man, I would like to thank you for being on the show, man. We're gonna wrap this up. I would like to thank you for being on the show. Let the people know where they can find your music at and all of that, man.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that, and yeah, hit me up after this because I'd like to, talk with you about this, man. I appreciate you and your insights. But anyways, yeah, the name is That Rapper CB. You can see it down there, I believe. And if you go to Instagram, I'm at That Rapper CB. Go figure, right? Same with Facebook too. So if you search that, I'm working on an album introspection. Follow my IG page. There's plenty of details, information, and I'll have plenty of pre-releases and snippets. There's already a ton on there, and I'm releasing a new track soon. So Killer Beats, much love, and really appreciate you for having me.
You already know, man. Until next time I see y'all people.
All right, later, man.